Hey, I'm Dr. Norm with Dr. Norm's Connections, and today I have the pleasure of coaching our speaker today. Our speaker is Lori Bloyer with Nexus Success Coaching. Lori, come on up. You now have the stage.
All right. Everyone, I'm Lori. I am a holistic neural growth, learning, and life success coach, and I will talk to you more about that as we go on. But I want to go ahead and tell you a story. I want to tell you a story about how I moved from worry to a worry killer. And it started with 12 years ago, 13 maybe actually now. I took my son to a class to do exercise, and we were going to do jumping jacks, and it was actually a hip hop class. It was really cute. It was so cute, little guy, and we were doing jumping jacks, and he did one jumping jack horribly, and he looked to his left and he looked to his right, and he just started crying. And he started bawling, like uncontrollably crazy man bawling at a little age. You're supposed to just be doing, everyone was looking at us, and the teacher was looking at us, and everyone just, we couldn't console him. Nobody in the room could console him. So I had to pull him out. And I got to the car, and at this stage, I was a preschool teacher, and I knew that something wasn't right, and it just washed over me like a wave. It washed over me that my kid was not okay. This is not how kids should act. So anyway, we took many other classes, and the same thing happened year after year after year. He couldn't be in any performances. He couldn't sing. He couldn't do anything the normal kids could do. My family's kids were fine. Everyone else that I knew was fine. The kids I taught in preschool for years were fine. My kid was different. And I just cried. I was like, this is a low. This is the lowest of the low. I'm a teacher. I can't help my son. He's crying. Something's wrong with him. I got him diagnosed. He had dyslexia, anxiety, prefrontal cortex processing issues. He had problems. And so I thought, okay, I'm a teacher. I'm a mom. Am I going to let this go on? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So I trained myself. I trained myself to learn about anxiety, to learn about dyslexia, to learn about all of the problems that my son was having. And the students the students I've had, I can't let them down either, just because I didn't know what these things were. And fast forward 13 years, I taught thousands of students now how to manage their dyslexia, how to manage their anxiety, how to manage their schoolwork, their time management skills, their organizational skills. I've taught parents. I've coached as much as I could from being a teacher. So that's how I've helped kill my worry about my son. And today, I'm sorry, I wanted to bring him, but today he teaches his friends even. I'll hear him saying, don't worry about that. Oh, don't talk to your brain that way. Oh, you shouldn't say negative things to yourself. You got this. I'm like, in the background. Anyway, so that we've killed both of our worries, I should say. So I left the school because I wanted to help more kids one-on-one. As a teacher, I was in the school system. I couldn't help them. I didn't have time. I had as many of you in this room probably as students in my class. How can I sit down and help your worry, or help your concern, or help your jokes? Just kidding. Anyway, so I left the school system, and I now am an independent coach, and I'm building my business. And obviously I learned a lot about teaching and education and dyslexia and anxiety and all those other skills, but marketing has been my thing. So we'll get to the help slide in a second. But right now I work with kids that have these challenges, that struggle, that need help, and their parents sometimes need help too. So that is who I work with. And I have this really unique approach. So I am certified in being a holistic neurogrowth, learning, and life success coach. And basically that means, right, neurology, I work with the neurons. I work with kids that need to learn how to learn. Like, let's just play a game real quick. This is totally spontaneous, but let's play a game. So hold out your arms. I can't really do it with the mic. Hold out your arms and cross your arms, like just cross them like you're mad. Okay, do it again. Do it one more time. Do you notice which arm is on top now? Now try to switch it. Put the other arm on top. Your neurons just had to do a totally different thing. Did you feel yourself? It's kind of like what the dyslexics are doing, right? Every word they encounter, they have to like, but your neurons, that's just a quick game, right? Had to really work to switch. Some of you are really good at it, and that's your chiropractors, aren't they? They were really good at it. Yeah, anyway. So it's an innovative program. It's that word. Proprietary, there we go, proprietary. And I got the training in this talk to your brain method called the meta learning de-stress method. So it helps kids and parents learn how to de-stress neurologically. And basically it boils down to, I teach kids how to learn, right? Because we lost it at COVID. They lost a lot. And devices aren't helping either, are they? So basically, I won't go through all of this, but I do help kids one-on-one because I couldn't do that in the school. I work with small groups if they can't afford a one-on-one session. Also, small groups are really good because they feed off each other and they help each other and they can problem solve quicker than sometimes I can. I work with the teenage years because that's where I left off. I've taught preschool through adults, but most recently I was a middle school teacher. So I love that age because their brains are forming and there's so much potential. And I do it mostly online. Obviously I can do in person if I'm in person, but can offer my services worldwide. So what I really do is, like with my son's story, I transform them. I help them get over their anxiety, get over their stress, get over their, help with their dyslexia, right? And the issues that they come to me with. And what I can need help with, I just need, help with your brains. You guys are all amazing. I've loved being here so far. Getting more students, getting my name out there. Just any ideas you have for marketing. Like I said, it could be worldwide, but it can be local as well. So I have quite a variety. I don't need a ton of students because I'm one human being. So I can't coach a ton of students. So that's the fortunate thing. And I guess the next one is how to reach me. Did I do it? I didn't even time myself.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Okay, I didn't even time myself.
I have a few questions for you.
Yeah.
Red or green?
Oh, that's right.
Not yet. That goes at the end.
Oh.
We're gonna ask her those at the end.
At the end.
Yeah, at the very end, after
Okay,
question
so
and
now we
answer
do
time.
questions and answers.
Okay.
Okay, Q&A. Q&A. Okay, now's your chance to come up and ask her all kinds of questions about what she does and how she does it and offer some suggestions for challenges and things like that. So I'm going to ask the first question. When I was interviewing her, one of the things she said to me right off was, "Oh, I'm familiar with cochlear implants." And I said, "Really, how?" She said, "Well, I taught students who have cochlear implants. So you want to tell me a little bit how that benefited you and how you were able to help the student with cochlear implants?" Not that that's the only thing she does, but I thought there was something we had in common.
Sure. I like to help students through I call myself sometimes the quirky coach. And I saved you guys today. I didn't wear my quirky earrings, but the one student I really had, I was telling Dr. Norm, from first grade all the way to sixth grade, is she would wear cochlear implants. And the way I would get her attention is by wearing quirky earrings. So every day she'd come up to me and look at me and say, "What are you wearing today? What are you going to wear tomorrow?" So that's how I would really reach her and get her attention and get her to give me her mic if she didn't forget it. I know I saved you today. Today they're paper, but
Okay.
usually I wear Legos. Usually I wear Legos or toys or something.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Paul Sauter with Equity. So from your presentation, the first thing that occurs to me is that there are those students that get a diagnosis and then there's special needs and there's special ed and there's this whole program. But it sounds like you're also talking about kids that no one's going to put a diagnosis on them, but they're struggling, right? And so the schools are not really set up for that. And that seems to be the niche that you're targeting, right? So kids that don't have a label slapped on them, but they need some help. Is that right?
Yeah, actually both. The kids with the label, those are actually the harder ones to work with because they come with, you notice I said, my son has dyslexia, not he is dyslexic.
Right.
But they'll come to me and say, I am ADHD. Well, no, you have ADHD. Let's work with skills. But the parents are so fixated on that. But the kids that don't have it are the lovely ones to reach because they don't know why they're getting reports from their teachers at home. Like, why am I bothering, right? So those are the harder ones to reach though. Well, they're both hard, but they're the hard ones to reach because they don't know something that they can be helped, right? They don't have that label yet. They don't have a diagnosis yet. They just think they're weird or they're annoying or they disturb their teachers or, so both are who I'm trying to reach actually.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Good morning.
I'm John Boersma, JV Management Consulting. Maybe I'm not the only one. Hearing you talking about this is bringing up feelings.
I know, I'm like.
And the question I want to ask about that is, in your presentation, it seems like often the sort of presenting symptom is academic challenge. But in my case, I always did very well academically, was even distinguished in that way from a young age, and yet struggled quite a bit socially and often felt confused about why that was. And so I'm curious as to whether you see that as well, or whether basically the only time that there's an identified need is when it's in the context of an academic challenge.
Oh. Ooh, I'd love to sit and talk to you. So what I do when I usually meet my students is I spend like 4 days really working with what triggers you or what's upsetting to you. In this process of becoming a coach and getting better, I've noticed that I have ADHD. Or probably ADD, but I've never been diagnosed and I don't know why. And it hasn't been in an academic setting, right? I've gotten 2 master's degrees. I've been a successful teacher. I've been a business owner. So I haven't seen it in my personal, academic world, but it came up in looking at, wow, I'm not organized all the time. I have messes. I do love to do this project and that project and this project. And my mom always said, well, it's just because you're a Gemini, honey. And I was like, no, there's more. And now that I've known that from a non-academic standpoint, oh, I can work with that, right? I can work with, how do I organize myself? Okay, I figured this out now. It's not just that I'm my astrological sign. It's that I actually need to focus better and take it out of the academic realm, but into my adult learning. And there's a lot of adult learning, late diagnosis or realization people out there. So I'd love to, I'd have to talk more to learn about what sets you off and how to work with that. But I know there's lovely life coaches out here that also work on the adult side of that. So, yeah.
You just look good. So for those of you who are familiar with the group, I have to say, like, how could she get organized? So now let me just get kind of more on a business footing.
Yeah.
How are you marketing yourself?
I am trying, well, here we go with the ADHD thing again. I'm trying everything. And I feel like maybe that might be my fault as I'm everywhere. So networking is new to me. So thank you for letting me do my first foray in networking. But I do Instagram, like little reels on Instagram, because I think people need to know the personality. Like I said, I'm kind of a quirky coach, so good knowing my quirkiness. So I do Instagram, and I just started a YouTube account, and I do Facebook, and I go into Facebook groups, and I meet with people. I stopped putting up flyers because it was a waste of time, and I want a more professional appearance, and that's also something I want to need help with. I want to be seen as not just a school teacher, or, I want to be professional like a coach, but I'm a quirky coach, so I don't need total professionalism. So I think that's the main way, is mostly online. 98% of my time is, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I forgot to say, I did write an ebook or whatever, so that was another way I'm marketing myself is through an ebook and try to get clients that way.
Well, John took my main question, but Miriam RTCP more than organized, and yes, we can talk about systems at some point. As and I too was diagnosed late in life with ADHD, and it's like, oh, well, that makes so much sense now that I know what it actually is.
Cool.
But yeah, growing up, my brother had ADD and it looked very different than what I looked like. And so no one made the connection till I started going, I can't get anything done. And then I figured it out. So that's great. In addition, so you've got all these things you're doing for marketing, throwing spaghetti at the wall, as it were.
Yes, that's a good one.
Are you measuring them in any way, or do you have a system for trying to, so you can figure out what works moving forward?
Love it. I love that. Yes, I'm measuring through Excel spreadsheets, but there hasn't been enough data really. Nothing's sticking yet enough for me to measure much. You know, I can say that I'm putting out my Facebook posts at least every other day I aim for, which also goes to Instagram and YouTube. So I'm aiming for every other day. And I measure like how many followers I've gotten and what videos are working and that kind of thing. But I just feel like I've been doing it for a year, but I've gotten a few clients, but not enough yet. So I feel like there's nothing sticking into the wall yet. I love that.
So that's great. Don't add more until you know what starts working in terms of social media. But I would recommend getting more comfortable with the one-on-one. I think coaches especially really need the one-on-one interactions. So definitely do more networking, but also you were in the schools. Do you have resources in the counselors' offices or special education teachers that could share your information with students that are struggling in their families?
Yeah, I taught at one school. I loved my school for 12 years. So I don't have a huge network of all the schools, right? So
Yeah.
I've definitely talked to the people at my school. They know what I'm doing. I've talked to some of the students, but I don't have that huge school network yet.
Were you in public school or private school?
It was a charter.
So the other thing, look at the charter schools, but also maybe the private schools, because you need people that can actually afford your services as well. And if you focus too much on the public schools, which is just unfortunate, you won't get the same level of response. But the kids in private schools, their parents are very involved. And so they are looking for help.
Yeah, I've emailed, I forgot to say that too. I've been emailing the schools and asking.
You have to go in.
So going in, yeah, that's the one thing I haven't. Okay, I will do that.
Make a list, call, schedule appointments.
Okay, no, that's great. That's why I'm here. I needed that push. Thank you.
Mike Wachowski. I would say that my first engagement with 1 Million Cups was 12 years ago, but I've been absent for 8 to 9 years for various reasons. Anyway, I wondered if you network or collaborate in any way. You mentioned ADHD and dyslexia. I was waiting to hear autism spectrum. I wonder if you have considered or tried networking and collaborating with any of the organizations here in town who provide those services.
Yeah, actually, my first 3 clients were autistic. And the one I was talking about with the cochlear implants, she was autistic as well. And that's how I get her attention. So it's interesting that that's where most of my clients are coming from. High functioning autistic children. So sorry, I left that one out. There's such a big umbrella and such little time to talk about it. So thank you. And by the way, your shirt is perfect for this talk, isn't it? Mouth is hard. Can you guys all see it? The shirt is perfect. That's wonderful. Yes, I do need to get out and do more of the one-on-ones, I guess, with organizations here. I know that, and maybe my feeling is wrong and maybe you guys can correct me, but my feeling is if I talk about what I do, they feel like I'm trying to take away their clients or take away, oh, wait, you coach them and we work with them. So how can we help each other? So that's the angle I'm trying to figure out, how I can help them without making it feel like I'm taking their business away. Does that make sense? And maybe that's just in my head. I don't know, but. Partially.
Well, there could be opportunities for follow-on after they finish their regimen of therapy with the other organizations. So it could be something like that. And I'll leave you with a thought. I wonder if there's anything that you can do about addressing children who feel bullied in school, both working with them individually, their families, but also perhaps some programs in schools about bullying. And I'll leave it at that and I'll go sit down.
You know, when you hear lots of things coming, it's interesting. That's a good one because I am part of a marketing gang and they say, right, get into the conversation that's already in your client's head, right? Get into that conversation. And so I put that as a Facebook post and to a group of 120,000 members. And they came back and several of them said, my kid has been bullied. My kid has been strangled unconscious. My kid has been, they have stories, and I'm feeling like that might be an angle I have to take, is how to speak up for yourself. You can't stop the bullies, but how to speak up. And that's a big one to take on, because kids are just, and kids are really hurting themselves and hurting each other, and it's not a good, safe place. Most parents are not feeling that their kids are safe, and they pull them out to do homeschooling. And then that's a whole other side of stress and worry and anxiety, is the homeschooling moms and the weight that they carry on their shoulders. So it's a big topic. It's a big topic.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Clifton Chapman with Comunicaciones Cocopelli. And I was wondering if you could tell me who at your school is responsible for student success. That's what you say when you walk into the school. You give your name and you say, can you tell me who's responsible for student success at your school?
Okay.
And you have a trifold brochure. Anyway, you have a wonderful presentation. Miriam is absolutely right. Also, there's a swell book called On Killing, which essentially says it's easier to press a button and send an ICBM to kill a lot of people than it is to stab your neighbor in the eye with a knife. Now, that is perfectly metaphorical to how much more difficult it is going to be to tell you no to your face versus via ignoring your email or any of those technical things. You need 10 to 12 students.
I know.
You have enough schools in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And you've got nothing better to do right now than go knock on those school doors and introduce yourself to all the school counselors. And I think you could get your 12 students pretty quick within, a geographic area that's handleable. Handleable.
I know, that's like, I'm trying to say that word. Proprietary. Yeah, thank you. That's wonderful. I guess that's why I'm here. So you guys will push me out the door and make me do this. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Pruitt, our Peaceful Path Life Coaching. When you go knock on the door of all these schools, take a plate of cookies.
I know teachers love cookies.
And they will talk about, well, who gave us these cookies? Give them a dozen brochures while you're there. But also, have you thought about the homeschool? Moms pull those kids out because they're having problems and they still need help. The ERC is the place to go for that. And there are tutoring centers all over Albuquerque. Why not give them some brochures as well? It's a matter of, where is your target audience? I think you know what it is, who it is, but where do you find them to get them to come to you?
Right.
And good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, if you have an idea for how to crack the homeschool, I've tried really hard, but like I said, they just feel like they have to wear everything on their shoulders. They don't want to have additional help or afford it. That's what I'm finding.
I homeschooled. My oldest, today I know he was dyslexic dysgraphic ADHD. But if you go in with a seminar, prepare it, talk to, well, you know the problems that moms have. Those homeschool moms have those same problems. Have a free seminar on, we will meet at this place and I will talk about how you can help your kids. And then after that free seminar, you say, if you want more services, come talk to me, group thing, or you could do a group thing once a week for homes. Yeah, there are several things. Come talk to me and I'll give you some ideas.
Actually, I have a group class in 2 different homeschool co-ops right now, so, or starting, it hasn't gotten there yet, but.
They need it. Those kids
Right.
are not in school because those kids are being homeschooled because the school is not meeting their needs and the parents know it.
Yeah.
So you can go in, and if you have a group class, it's easy. Talk to me and I'll hook you up some.
Yeah, great, thank you, thank you.
Morning, Lori.
Morning.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great presentation. My name is JP. I have a couple of small businesses, Enchantalands Music, An Amazing Life, and I do sound baths and help people with sound and music modalities. So I could have used you 50 years ago.
I get that a lot.
So my question is, pretend I'm 8 or 9. What would be like, could you show us a bullet point of what your service is? Like in just a quick demonstration. I'm a kid with anxiety, with no parental, I'm raised by wolves.
I'd love to, but what my process is really getting to build relationship
Okay.
first.
Okay.
Because you're not gonna just meet some stranger lady and tell me your whole life story, especially if you're raised by wolves, right? So.
I could. You could prompt me.
And that's what I do is I start with
Okay.
4 days of like getting to know you. And then I will test you, like give you little, like, we don't call it tests. I give you little assessments or little games, even if you're really anxious about game or assessments. And then I get to know what your breaking point is and what your skill level is. So if you're coming to me with just managing your anxiety, obviously I'm not really gonna do math and reading with you, but I'll do situational, like maybe role playing, what makes you anxious. And then we move on to creating a plan for, I try to work with 3 months at a time. Sorry, I have my back to you guys, I'm sorry. I try to work with 3 months at a time so that really you don't see a lot of changes overnight. And but the first step is that relationship building. So I would work with you really on just who you are. Why were you raised by wolves, right? That would be our first time is tell me about, okay, so you're raised by wolves. What makes you anxious? Probably coming back into society. I wouldn't put words in your mouth, but you know, I would talk to you about it and how relationship building would be our first step. Right.
So this is really individualized for the family.
For the kid, even.
Well, but it's parents and kids, like you're working with both of them. The parents just don't come in and bring their child and put them in the room with you. They're with you, correct? When you're doing the tutoring and the process.
So it's much more than tutoring. I just want to be clear. That's my
Program.
I know. It's a phrase I have to get out of people's heads,
Okay.
but when I'm doing the coaching, the parents could be there. They could be like on the side listening, but they're not like actively engaged. And that's why I started with kind of 8-year-olds because they're the ones that could sit in front of a computer and probably manage themselves better than the little guys. And I taught the little guys and I'm just ready for when their brain is changing and working with that age. So the parents usually do come in for a little bit of the conversation and be like, oh, Johnny's really having a hard time today. You know, he had this situation at school. Can you help him? And then they might go to the side and I would, okay, Johnny, tell me about what happened. And so there's a little bit of parent interaction. And then of course, yes, if parents want me to have an extra session with them and communicate with them more one-on-one about what I'm seeing and how to maybe work with their teacher or how to work with their other therapists or other counselors, you know, sometimes there's a team of us helping a kiddo, then that's when I would talk to them more.
So on your brochure, does it actually say one-on-one training with the child, help them develop the coping skills and however you phrase it? Because in your slide, it said children and parents. And so it kind of made me see this vision of like, it's a couple
I did.
There she goes. Okay, here we are.
I know, I had one here.
Okay, she's got the answer right there,
I
folks.
did. It says on my brochure, does it say, I guide children ages 8 to 17 to create future-proof toolkit of essential life skills, empowering them to handle challenges now and in the future. And then I talk about the different things I work on. And I guess I don't say exactly one-on-one because I can do one-on-one and group. So
I think it's fine.
I guess, is it? Okay, yeah, I don't necessarily say, it just because it's so different, everything is so different, and that's what I'm trying to be broad, but yet be niche down, so I'm in that place of who's gonna come to me, yeah? So I guess that's where I'm finding it hard with marketing materials, like who's gonna show up, who am I speaking to, can I talk to everyone, but yet narrow it down, I can't help every person in the world, so.
Right. I do think some of those specifics kind of create a clarity for the parents. To
Right.
kind of come in and know, okay, that their child's getting a one-on-one session.
Right.
With a professional. And it's, I don't know, for me, it's like those specificities like really help to kind of like assess before because how do I explain this? A parent and a child are coming in and they don't have this experience. And so they could be kind of nervous and kind of trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to approach this? Because it is a very delicate, the child has these issues. And for how many like decades has it not been addressed? And so you're changing a culture and you're kind of educating a culture and letting people know, okay, this is a real serious thing. And by fixing it when they're young, it creates strength for these young people to be actualized as individuals and have better futures.
Right.
So thank you for your service. Appreciate you.
He's my spokesman, huh? Thank you, thank you. Wow, that was really well said. And what I do is I do start with what I call a clarity coaching call. So I do like if a parent calls me up and says, hey, I want to meet with you, and I'll do a 30-minute or so, 45-minute, whatever call, and I'll talk to the parent and I'll get to know them, and hopefully the kid is with them so that I can get to know the kid and they can see what I'm doing and not have this big like, oh my gosh, this is a scary, weird thing that we're stepping into, but it was a natural little step into, hi, this is who I am, and nice to meet you. And then we talk through those kind of things, the issues that they're having or how I can help. So.
Thank you. And I'm Barbara Dawson with Purple Mulch, and I have two things. Number one, when you're first talking, have you ever heard of Keshet Dance Company?
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And they work with the whole population of creative people.
Mm-hmm.
And that may be a place to go and who knows, maybe meet some people. The other thing, I was just reading an article of a instructional design that was put together by some teachers for teachers that were trying to create empathy. And one of the things they talked about, they did this whole audio visual thing, and they brought up what a person with dyslexia might see.
Right.
The words are shaking, they're moving around the screen, the letters are reversed. And I thought, oh my goodness, I had no idea. And so they were creating an empathy. So I'm just thinking that if you have that program, when you do go and present to a group, you could say, so somebody tell me what this says. Let's see, and there's something at the end of it that says, those of us that could understand it, draw a picture of a dog. And we're all going, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do there. But that may be something that would also help give your message about who is your target audience. Have you seen those programs?
Yes.
Tell me about them.
No, maybe not the one you were talking about, but as where I was teaching, we called her the reading guru, and she would make us teachers sit and do dyslexia exercises for a couple hours as one of her, professional development trainings. And it was just amazing to see, because she would give us the scrambled letters and she would make us take a test and she would make us read stuff, and everything we would do for just a few minutes, and then we'd rotate and try something different and try something different and try something different. Everyone was walking out there like, my head is splitting. I hurt in so many different ways. And here's the thing though, they would say, I'm hurt, oh my gosh, I have so much new awareness and this is amazing. They wouldn't do anything about it. That's the thing. I know. these are my colleagues and I would try in this reading, we would try from so many angles, but they wouldn't, they would just treat the kids the same. So, yes.
So my follow-up question then, given that is your experience, if you do it in a group and they go, oh my gosh, my head is swimming, what's your call to action at the end of that presentation? What would be a call to action that would have them, I'm empathetic and what do I do with it?
Yeah, that's, it's getting into kind of an audience that I'm not in love with working with. Right, teachers, I mean, teachers are important and they're amazing, but what I really want to do is work with the kids, right? And really work with that audience. So maybe if my audience were parents, I would love to do that for parents and help them see, even homeschool parents, right, that are seeing their kid, right, struggling and they're not aware that their kid has dyslexia or dysgraphia or whatever. That might be a really good audience. Teachers, we try every year. I mean, being in it every year, they give us the same professional development. I've been with the same people that do the same thing they get stuck in their pattern. And as homeschool parents are amazing that they want so much for their child to succeed. I could see them really taking the information, right, and running with it and saying,
You pick your audience.
right, exactly.
Pick your
That's
audience.
awesome.
Don't-
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. You guys are amazing.
Hi, I'm Mercedes Wharton. My business is called Timmy's Closet. I'm an image consultant. I have a kid that has no, you look great. I'm not judging. No. My son has sensory integration disorder. He is now 21, graduating from UNM at the end in May. But so I know the struggle. Have you thought about reaching out to like the sensory integration disorder places like Kid Power here in town? There's a list of them. So when my son was in 3rd grade, we took him to therapy and it helped so much, I think, and he's high anxiety. And so I think it's great that you're doing this because it's out there and it's a real thing. And especially like you said, all the kids that were lost during COVID. I mean, my son struggled. His senior year was the end of his junior year, and then the last 6 weeks of school was all in his room. So it's a lot. So I like that you're working with the kids that are teenager years. That is so important. So my sister also is the dean of students at East Mountain High School. She also has a kid, surprise, that has sensory, and so she might be a good just to bounce off ideas or send you, she's a counselor, to send you maybe in the right direction. So I will connect you to.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, my son also had sensory, like the tags and he's still to this day. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a
Joint compression. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning. My name is Michael McDonald. I'm a retired systems engineer at Sandia. So I don't know anything about your field, right? But one thing that when you're talking with JP that like, listening to you, so I had imagined, oh, a client would come to you and you would know this client has ADHD or whatever, right? But that isn't the case, is what came out. And then you describe this kind of like pretty extended process before you would find yourself in a place of whether or not you could help them. Then I thought about like this parent who's probably wanting things answered fast or something, kind of committing themselves to that process and thinking about how hard that would be, like just to get them motivated, get them over that hump. Is that an issue?
I don't think so, because parents that are having this issue, right? Those of us that have had kids like this, they want the problem solved. They do. And there is the part where I'm coaching the parents for sure and saying, this is not going to happen overnight. I don't, I really try to not do medicine. This is not a quick fix. This is not an overnight thing, but you will see changes quickly because like I just did with that arm exercise, you guys could immediately see how fast you can change your brain and switch your arms or whatever is comfortable. So there are ways to really see quick successes, but my jam, I forgot to say it, is I love making stuff and the makerspace and like hands-on and anything makery. That was actually one business I had a while ago. And so that's like a way I engage and keep them motivated and interested and keep learning those really good skills of perseverance and persistence. And so through maker and hands-on.
So I don't know, maybe this isn't applicable, but it did seem to me like as you know, what you're into, what you're doing, if you had some kind of like maybe a feeder gig, that maybe it would be like a maker kind of thing for kids, but a feeder gig that would help you develop that relationship. Maybe it would be like a week-long or a 2-week-long thing, but that would help you develop that relationship and then move kids along your pipeline. That would give you a draw in, right?
Right.
Oh, I work maker space stuff. I work maker projects with kids who have difficulty socializing in this way, right? And then it's could create that stream of students.
And actually, I am doing that at the homeschool. I was just saying, I have something in mind. I'm doing the first Lego League with this homeschool group of unschoolers. So they are usually the kids that definitely have other issues. And so I'm doing the first Lego League with them to try to feed them in and work with that perseverance, persistence, problem solving, critical thinking, all those skills. So I'm excited to start that next week with them.
Well, fantastic.
I've never done it before, but I love anything hands-on. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Brooke. I own Deaf Doula Professionals. And at 8 years old, I was diagnosed with dyslexia. For those of you,
1 and 5, right?
Barbara, like the E's don't appear in my language at all. When I read, the lines bounce around. But because I was diagnosed at such a young age and I got the help that I have, I can stand here today and tell you that I'm a successful adult that lives with it every day. So I want to offer for parents who are worried about what they're doing or if they're doing the right thing, I will be an advocate for you and give them my name and number. And I will explain to them, because of those, I was a different kid, allowed me to evolve to who I am today and be successful. So thank you for what you do.
Did you have a coach or?
I actually, I went through special education because it was in the 80s. And I was pulled out of class every day and went to a special class that helped me along with everybody else that needed problems. So we do exist later in life as well. And it's
Thank you. Yeah, my son is getting therapy literally right now. So
How old is your son?
He's 13.
Okay.
I tried to get him to come and he's like, no. But yeah, he's 13 getting therapy right now, one-on-one. So yeah.
I'm Jay Pullen, New Path Wellness. I work with adults with anxiety, but I'm more on track with you. I don't want to say don't go to the public schools because, you know, that would be an ideal thing in a lot of ways, but I also know from other people's experiences that sometimes that gets caught up in red tape and, you know, some of them are pretty resistant to cooperating and all. So just a thought, it might be kind of a sneaky way of getting around that. My ex-wife was a chorus teacher. And one of the things that she encountered sometimes was a parent would want to pull them from that program because their grades weren't up. Can't spend time doing all that extracurricular activity because their grades aren't up. Unfortunate thing is sometimes the extracurricular activities actually helped with the grades because it improved their self-esteem and that rubbed off on their academic performance. You might think about getting in touch with people like a chorus teacher or a coach. Soccer coaches, you know, I have to believe that sometimes those kids get pulled from those programs because of their grades. But what if the grades not being good is because they have the problems, other problems? So as you have time, you might try to get in touch with some of these people because they know kids.
Love that idea.
Just a thought.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. I love that idea. Thank you. Yeah, 1 in 5 of us are dyslexic. So there's a lot of them out there.
So I have a follow-up, you know, it crossed my mind. When you say I'm looking for the person responsible for student success. This is invariably works, is you follow up and you're probably talking to the person at the desk. You say, is that you? And I promise you, they will point to the person who is responsible for success. Okay?
Tell us more, huh? Thank you. Okay, now you can ask me, huh?
Well, yes, I will. And I just want to compliment you on your presentation. It was short, sweet, and simple.
Oh, good. You guys, just disappointed.
And you did a good job of letting people know who you are by involving everybody here with their questions and your responses. So that was the power of who you are and how this whole thing works, really, in my opinion. So now for the two questions.
Whichever.
Okay, two questions. Red or green?
Both, Christmas.
Christmas,
Like
yes.
Christmas.
Yes. And the final question, what can we do as a group today to help you move forward with your business?
Well, like I said, I just getting me in contact with whoever you might know that has this needs help, right? Needs help. Or I'm planting a seed, maybe you'll see someone next week and be like, oh yeah, I didn't know today, but as I'm trying planting seeds. So you guys have given me a lot of really good suggestions, I think, from all those questions. And just any other thoughts you have? Maybe one thing I was toying with was doing like a presentation like you're doing here at that pipe, maybe just for parents, for homeschoolers or something. I could maybe do something here. And I think you guys have really been helpful. So if I've planted seeds, hopefully come to me and hopefully grab my QR codes and love it. Thank you for your support.
Let's give her a big hand. Thank you.